All right, welcome to the Arizona Deliverance Center. That includes you. Welcome to Phoenix and hardcorechristianity.com and our beautiful Hawaii-like weather here. This is the time to visit, YouTubers. Do not come visit here in July or June. Now I think about it, or August, or okay, I better stop there. All right, this is December, the last month of the year, and about every 7 years or so, I go through a kind of a purging of the system, and I'm going to be doing that this year. We're going to be changing a lot of our programs here for 2026. Okay, so working on all that right now, and we will be definitely keeping the Friday service, and we're going to cancel the Thursday service and kind of blend that in with the Friday one. So that'll hit it right out of the gate, and then we're going to make several other changes, and so we'll see how that works. I'm working on an idea for a mental illness deliverance and healing and training class. That's kind of in the works. Not sure I'm going to have it yet, but that's just something I'm puttering around with. So we'll see if that works. I need a teacher, I need a day, and that kind of thing. So if you have an idea, you know how to contact me. It's real easy. Mike at hardcorechristianity.com. You just send me suggestions and I will read every one of them. Okay, I forgot my laser pointer tonight, so I think I got an extra one. I forgot to bring it from home. Sorry about that. I'm lucky to be here myself, so, oh, that one's working. Work. That's good. Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah. All right. So what I do is I always have backups on everything. See, this thing's huge. Friends, this is the kind of life you live when you've got nothing but volunteers. Okay. It ain't easy being me. Gary said amen. All right. Now let's go to the fun part, some announcements, and these are all there's gonna be a lot of changes on these next year, 2026, okay? Right out of the gate, here's Friday, no Thursday. This will not change unless we get canceled by YouTube. All of our teachings are on there, youtube.com/House of Healing AZ. We usually post everybody on there. And this won't change. If you switch over from Google and put in our charity name, they'll pay us while you surf the web. That's helpful. All my contact stuff's going to be the same. Phone number, email, and Facebook page. The miracle list will not be changed. We're going to keep that. This will not change. The deliverance training course is in the bookstore. This will not change. The 7 Churches of Revelation. This won't change. You can download that on your phone if you want to donate to the ministry. This is going to change. This is a prayer meeting for Saturday. We're not going to cancel it. We're just going to try and adjust it or something, move it or put it in a better spot or something like that. Okay, so this one's going to not be deleted, but it's going to change. This one's going to be canceled. We're not going to be doing this anymore. Fourth Saturday of every month. That's going to be canceled. Donations are not canceled. The boxes will stay on the doors. PayPal will not cancel. That will stay on the website. Radio programs will not cancel. I just signed up again for 2026. They did not raise my rates. I've been down there for so long, 23, 24 years. So the program manager down there likes me for obvious reasons. I mean, I got great personality, looks and everything. So they did not raise my rate for the third year in a row. So that's what you call favor. Yeah, because I don't want my rates going up. Just personal thing. I wrote these 3 books. They're still in the bookstore. Listen to this story. I don't know if I'd even tell you this stuff. This thing here, we had translated into Spanish. Planospirates, the root cause and cure of mental illness. I went down to my printer to get a new box of them, and the guy looks on his computer and prints me up 8 boxes of these in French. I went back to the printer and said, hey, what I didn't want these, I got all these boxes in French. If you know anybody who speaks French, we have these available for free. If you know of a French church in the area, we will ship them an entire box if they want it. It's all free because we like French people. I talked to the guy today. I said, hey, where's my Spanish books? He says, we can't find them. So I am going to change printers in 2026. I got to fire these losers, okay? So if you know of a good printer around here, I would appreciate receiving a lead on it. It's ridiculous. Things happen you can't even believe. This service here is, we're going to keep the worship service on Sunday. We're going to modify it a little bit. Not going to redo it, not going to eliminate that. This service is our last service tomorrow. Children's Deliverance is canceled. We're revamping the whole thing, making it more of a family type service. So the last service is tomorrow. It's canceled for next year. I think Mike Carter's Zoom and his teaching is going to be fine. Tuesdays at 5 o'clock. This is not canceled. And Bible study is not canceled. Here it is. Tuesdays at 5 o'clock. We're keeping it there. We're keeping that. Good. All right. Here's our new Zoom schedule. We're keeping these Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday evenings. And we're keeping this one Tuesday nights for the ladies service bingo. We're keeping our Glossa group every Friday before this service. We have our singing in tongues group in the small sanctuary next door. Okay? So that's going to stay. My podcast Sunday morning is going to stay at 9 o'clock. This is the women's service. I just mentioned it. They're going through the miracle list again, Tuesday nights at 6:30, starting in January 13th. We're expanding to doing some outreach, which Peter and Michael Carter and a couple others are doing that. If you would like to join that or help out doing street ministry, boom, send me an email and I will hook you up with the group. Okay? I'm going to start doing street ministry and that'd be great. Keeping the healing services. This one's on December 19th. Dave Baldwin and Stephanie will be here. It's going to be fantastic. 7 p.m. December 19th. And we're having a Pentecostal healing and miracle service with Peter, the preacher. He does all of our Pentecostal work. And it will be on September 27th, Saturday, special service at 6 p.m. And here's the highlight of it all. We've got a monitor in the hall. It's so beautiful. You can just go out there and look at it, and it's comforting. As the things roll by, oh, it's so sweet. Hope you enjoy that. And our Monday meeting at 5:30, we are not going to be getting rid of that. So if you need a prayer for deliverance, you do not need an appointment. All you have to do is show up. The Holy Ghost will be standing there waiting for you. It goes great. All right. Mephibosheth is how you say it in Hebrew. People say it differently. Mephibosheth is kind of the way I say it. I wanted to go over his life with you tonight and show you how he relates to all of us. You know, weird stuff happens to people all the time. And it has nothing to do with God, demons, bad luck, angels, whatever. Crap happens. Okay? Adam and Eve were living in a perfect state, and crap never happened. And they fell, and from that moment on, crap happens all the time. Years ago, Robert Schuller wrote a book. Remember him? The guy in the Crystal Cathedral in Garden Grove, California. Remember him? He was a piece of work. He wrote a book one time that was a bestseller. Why bad things happen to good people. Remember that book by any chance? No. But anyway, it was an interesting seller. Weird stuff happens to people, and there's no reason for it. It just happens. Yeah. It happens to bad people. It happens to good people. For example, 2 Kings chapter 6, the dude is whacking away with the axe, and the handle flies off and falls in the river. Remember that? Sinks to the bottom. And the guy panics. Why? He borrowed the thing. See? In our society, when you borrow something, you just keep it. But back then, they didn't like that. I mean, if you gave your word to somebody back then, now your word means nothing. Back then, that was really an important thing. And this guy was panicking. What happened after that? The great prophet Elijah shows up. He gets a stick, rips it off, throws it in, and supernaturally, the axe handle floats up to the stick. God bailed him out. What happened? Did angels or Satan or demons do it? No. The guy was swinging it, and something happened, and the dang thing flew off and fell in the water. Okay? You know, bad things happen to good people all the time. These guys here in John chapter 9, 10 guys. Sicknesses hit people all the time. Good people, bad people. Not all of the sicknesses are related to demons or angels or the moon. Sometimes crap just happens to people. Sometimes it just happens. Does God bail you out of it? Sure. This guy here was sitting on the street corner. He's got a pottery pot. The disciples look at the guy. They go, oh my God, this guy's parents or his grandparents or his bloodline or his generation, they must have been rotten people. And this guy must have sinned in a previous life. See, and he got reincarnated, and now the guy's blind. See? So they said to Jesus, who did all this sinning? These people, that people, this guy? Was he reincarnated? Jesus said, none of that is true. It just happened. Bad things happen to good people all the time. Jesus said, you think these people whom that tower fell on, you think they were horrible sinners, pedophiles, murderers, rapists? He said, no. Somebody screwed up the tower. The 18 people that died, they were not at fault. The tower was poorly constructed, or the weather hit it, or the thing fell over, killed 18 people. Jesus said, do you think they were sinners, horrible sinners, because that tower fell on them? No, he said, hey, you're going to be looking at damnation if you don't repent. Okay? Bad things happen to good people all the time. Anybody knows that, do they not? Well, tonight's Bible study is this man here, Mephibosheth. There he is. His other name was Merib-Baal, because there was another Mephibosheth in his family. Okay? So here's Benjamin, who led to Saul, and here's Saul's children. These were daughters. And then here are his grandchildren. And guess who this guy was? Jonathan's son, Saul's grandson. Okay? This guy's living on top of the world. He is next in line to be the king of Israel. See that? These people were all dead. Jonathan was the main son of Saul. He was supposed to be the king. His son was next in line. He lived at the royal palace. He had everything you could ever imagine. Lived in a giant palace and a big bed. He had maids and servants and everything. He's only 5 years old. He's spoiled rotten. He's got everything taken care of him. Everything going great for the guy, right? He'll be eventually supposedly supposed to be king one day. Now, obviously, Jehovah didn't want this system here, and he rigged it so that who became king? David, King David, yes. But when bad things happen to you in childhood, and they're not your fault, and things happen to you that are heartbreaking and disturbing, the devil uses those trauma events, even if he doesn't cause them. If they happen, he uses them to develop the cancer of the soul, which is human self-pity. Self-pity is the biggest cancer you'll ever see. And people start to develop emotional issues such as these. These are very common psychiatric symptoms of a patient or a person who has self-pity. Self-pity is very common for people who have bad things happen to them that they don't deserve. Here's some other characteristics of people who wallow in self-pity. Ever heard that term? Grandpa used to say that. You're wallowing in self-pity. People that have bad things happen to them, particularly if they're not at fault or they didn't deserve it, many times will develop low self-esteem, self-pity. Many times they have very defensive spirits. And if you criticize them or you point out things they're doing wrong, or you point out you shoulda, woulda, coulda, they instantly flare like a defense mechanism. Well, F you, and you're like me, and they start going into this horrible sadness. But most of the time they live a miserable life. They love sympathy. They look at themselves and have this sense of chronic guilt they live with all the time, chronic sense of failure. And they have this terrible sense of being unworthy of being loved. Self-pity generates that. Conversely, Galatians 5, if you have good roots in your soul, what do you get if you have good roots? You get good fruit. It's the law of the spirit world. People who have good roots generate good fruit. People who have self-pity generate sad fruit that I just went over. Everybody with me so far? Okay. An internationally known evangelist once said, in the kingdom of God is not how you start, it's how you finish. Isn't that true? I need to get out. I'd like to meet that guy sometime. 2 Samuel chapter 4. Jonathan, Saul's son, had a son that was lame of feet. He was 5 years old when the tidings came of Saul and Jonathan out of Jezreel. What happened to them? Okay, they were dead. They were killed. Jonathan was killed and Saul committed suicide. Remember? Okay. Upon hearing the news back at the palace, at the castle, panic set in everywhere. Panic is all through Israel. Everybody's panicking. Well, this poor gal here, his nurse, she panics. She panics, and she, in her desperation and in her adrenaline rush, panics and grabs up little Phoebe, as I call him, and they want to run for their lives. Because with King Saul dead and Jonathan dead, they assumed they were all going to be overrun and murdered. So she wants to get out of there, right? And she took him and took him to running, and she didn't have the physical skills or the ability to be Usain Bolt. And she does what? She either falls or she drops it or something. Mephibosheth, by the way, that word in Hebrew means removing the shame of idolatry. It's actually a positive name. She drops the kid, and guess what? He fractures both of his ankles. They don't get set right. He can't walk anymore. And from age 5 until the day he dies, and we don't know when it was, this poor guy was physically disabled through no fault of his own. Bad things happen to good people all the time. Bad things just happen to you. Okay? His nurse screwed up. Phoebe wasn't at fault at all. He was only 5 years old. She scooped him up. She took off running. He was 0% at fault. And she was 80, 90, whatever percent you want to say, at fault for his permanent lifetime disability. He never recovered, and he had to walk with crutches or canes or whatever it was. This is, I don't know where Google got this, but this is an actual picture of Shivpeth. He changed a bit over the years, but anyway, that's they had the equivalent of Canadian crutches back then, but and they hauled them around in carts, different things with disabled people. 2 Samuel 9, when Mephi came to David, he fell on his feet. Now, as you know, speeding the story up, King David's son, Absalom, rebels. And King David then flees to save his life. And King David was someone who frequently made poor choices, and they were frequently involved with personal relationships and family members. He was really bad at making decisions about family members, very similar to a mother who's a codependent, very similar to parents who favor one child over the other, different things like that. King David had that terrible disease of not thinking straight when it came to his family, okay? He was advised not to flee don't run. He runs anyway. He was advised to do something about Absalom. He didn't do anything about him. Amnon, his other son, rapes his half-sister, and King David does nothing about it. When it comes to people, he has Uriah murdered. He marries his wife. When it comes to interpersonal relationships, King David was disabled. He always made bad choices. Translation, he was stupid. Stupid. He does not think clearly when it comes to family members, personal relationships. And after this rebellion is over, King David's back in kingdom, set back up again. Absalom's dead. Remember that? And King David's sitting there going, you know what? I was just thinking about my best friend, Jonathan. He was dead and everything. And he's thinking about him and reminiscing, and he missed him and he loved him. And then he thought, hey, I know most of his kids are dead. I'm going to find out if any of his children are alive, and I'm going to be good to them. So he does. He hires a private investigator. They hunt down the kids. Phoebe's the only one left. He tells them to bring him to the castle, the king's palace, right? And they bring him in, and guess what happens? Well, Mephibosheth fell on his face, okay? So this doesn't mean that he fell over because he was disabled. It meant he fell on his face out of reverence. And King David says, Mephi, and he said, I am your servant. And remember, this guy was not at fault for any of this. He lost his childhood. He lost his education. He lost playing sports. He lost all of his friends. He can't work. He's broke. This life that sucks just fell on him. And none of it was his fault. His nurse dropped the guy. And he missed out on everything his friends got to participate in. And as a result of that, he developed low self-esteem, a low self-concept, which is very common in the United States. People that grow up in a dysfunctional family with cooped out parents, whacked out foster parents, they start to grow up with this sense that they're a loser, they're a failure, that they don't have any value, that they have those symptoms I listed there with people that have self-pity. They start to see themselves as garbage, trash, unworthy of love from others, unworthy of God's love. They just have this sinking sensation of themselves. And King David says, listen, I brought you here to show you kindness for my best friend, Jonathan, your father's sake. And he says, I'm going to give you all the land of your grandpa, which was a lot. And you shall eat bread at my table for the rest of your life. Now, here you see the symbolism is inescapable here. You see somebody who sees himself as a pile of garbage, suddenly, overnight, hitting the lottery and becoming the most blessed person in Israel. He suddenly went from total poverty to instant millionaire, like hitting the lottery. He went from having nothing and being a total nobody to being some big fat shot loaded with cash and property. He can't even believe it. And he's sitting there thinking, how in the world could somebody like me possibly, how could this possibly happen to? In fact, he saw himself here as a what? A dead dog. He bows himself down to the king. How in the world? You're treating me? I am trash. I am garbage. Look at my feet. Look at my finances. Look at my family. I've had a miserable life. Everything is awful. Family problems, financial problems, physical problems. People have to take care of me. I can't go everywhere I want to go. I can't do everything I want to go. I'm disabled. And none of it was my fault. The symbolism here is inescapable. Here we are, we're just like Phoebe. We're sitting there with nothing. We're garbage. We're lost. We're eternal damnation staring us in the face. And suddenly, Calvary. Suddenly I saw Calvary. I am a dead, stinking dog. A bag of trash and a dirty diaper. Brother Mike's a filled diaper. But, my God, Calvary. And suddenly I go from the poop house to the penthouse through the blood that Jesus, there it is, the symbolism. This is why the Holy Ghost put this story in the Bible. He's showing you, this is you. You're disabled. You're a failure. You're broke. You've got nothing. But what? Guess what? Miracles are real. He's sitting there with his eyes bugging out, his mouth open. I'm getting all the land Saul had. That was a multi-millionaire. He's rich. Didn't have 2 cents to putter through his fingers. Didn't have 2 cents. A sinner. Oh, washed in the blood. A multi-trillionaire in the glory of heaven. I went from garbage to streets of gold. I went from the dumpster, son, to the heavenly glory of God. How did that happen? It happened right here. Well, King Ziba, oh, he's a piece of work. He enters the story now. Ziba's rich too, and he's got a family you can't even believe. He's a breeding machine. He's got kids coming out of both ears. He's got money, he's got position, he's worked hard all his life. He's a successful person. He was King Saul's right-hand man. He had all kinds of assets from Saul's estate. Guess what happened? King David does it again, man. He doesn't think stuff through when it comes to people. You know, he doesn't think straight. See? A lot of people think it's easy to work with human beings. I've been a counselor for over 40 years. Human beings are the hardest things to work with. You can't even believe how difficult it is to work with human beings. Auto mechanic work, aircraft mechanic work, assembly line work, all that stuff, piece of cake. Working with people, hell on wheels. Best thing you'll ever do, working with people. And some worse than others. So David goes, hey, guess what? Ziba, come here, baby. Okay, you see this guy over here? Oh, the disabled guy who has nothing, who's a loser? Yeah, that guy right there. I want you, I want you to give him your land. I want you to take your servants and work the land. I want you to give all the stuff to him, see? And then I want you to report back to me and have a nice day. Oh, really? You guys are going to till the land for him. This guy. Totally disabled, total loser. A nothing and a nobody. You will bring in the fruits, and your master, Paul Saul's son, may have food to eat. This guy. You're going to start taking crops off the land, and you're going to give it to this guy. And King David goes, I just thought of that off the top of my head. Well, that was typical for him. He didn't think things through. He wasn't someone who sat down and kind of weighed his options. He wasn't good with people. What if I do this to that person? What that person going to think? If I treat this person a certain way, how will that affect this person here? He should have known through experience from Absalom that you don't allow your kids to rape each other. And if they do rape each other, there needs to be some accountability. There needs to be some consequences. Oh, strange. What you talking about, Willis? No, King David, come on, buddy. Put the pipe down and start thinking about what you're doing. Think about what other people are going to think about your behavior. If you treat someone this way, what are they going to think about it? Hello? People who get kicked out of their families' lives usually are too stupid to be able to think that through. You ever met anybody where their family turns on them? Kids don't want them. The exes don't want them. The parents don't want them. They give them the boot. You ever met somebody like that? Those people are always, almost 100% of them, too stupid to figure out what happened. That's a fact. I don't know why everybody rejected me. I have no idea. That's exactly how they handle it. Just exactly like that. Haven't got a clue. They've got King David-itis. What happened? What? You mean Absalom had no respect for me? Nothing? No respect at all for me after that. Really? Duh, how did that happen? What's the problem? I love them. I love them. Why would they turn on me? Well, hey, your son raped your daughter. What are you doing? It's going to have ramifications. Your behavior has ramifications on other people's lives. So what happens is people that get the boot out of their family tree, you know what they do? They've all got self-pity. So what do? Oh, they start making excuses. That person's screwed up. That one's at fault. This one should have done that. That one should have done that. There's nothing wrong with me. It's their fault. Everything is their fault. Now, why Absalom turned on me? I have no idea. You mean he doesn't have any respect for me, trying to take my kingdom away from me? Yeah, no kidding. Is anybody listening to me? You know what King David's problem was? He was like one of these crotch rot TV preachers. Okay? They sit around 100% of them. If it's not 100%, it's 99. They sit around and they're totally insulated from the real world. And they have around them, hanging around their lives, a bunch of yes men. So they screw up, and there's no accountability for their behavior. They have an affair, they embezzle money. It's no big deal. They do it all the time. Nobody says don't do it. Nobody makes them stop. Nobody forces them to be accountable for anything. Why? Because they're insulated in this group of yesers. Yeah, you're okay. Yeah, cover that up. Yep, do that. Okay, you're all right. It's okay. What happens then? Finally, God has to come along. Listen to me carefully. God comes along. He doesn't do it himself, but he allows it to happen. A scandal breaks out in the ministry. All of a sudden, this guy gets caught sleeping with that person, embezzling this money, stealing that, buying these cars. They get caught with these homes. Am I talking to anybody? Listen, you can't be like King David. You got to think about your behavior and understand that sooner or later, the law of sowing and reaping is going to make you accountable. You guys are going to be working for him now. Whoa, that isn't going to go over well. But because he's the king, a TV preacher surrounded by yes men, nobody's going to say anything to him. You see that? Hey, King David, let me talk to you, buddy. Come on over here. If you give all this land to this disabled kid over here, this guy is going to get pissed. He's going to turn on you. He's going to hold deep-seated, unspoken resentment. Like Uriah's dad did. He sided with Absalom. He hated King David for having his son murdered and stealing his wife. They never said anything. Why? Shh. Just kept it in here. That's what people do with their resentments. They blame everybody else for their problems and they keep them in here. Hide. Shh. Hide. Go down. You got to give all your food to this guy. Whoa. Now, David, think about what you're doing, my man. And then he tells the guy, hey, Zibby, baby, you don't get to eat at my table, but I'm going to have him eat it. David, come here. Dude, let me talk to you for a second. Can somebody get some fentanyl for this guy? I mean, if you are pointing this out in public to somebody who's going to get all these benefits that you've been working here your entire life for King Saul, for you, for the family, and you don't get these benefits, what could possibly happen? Oh, let me think about it for a second. I need a divine revelation, Lord. Pour it on me now. Jealousy. How did I come up with that? Oh, 250 IQ. That must be it. No, it's pure common sense. Jealousy is going to materialize. If you favor that child over this one, jealousy is going to manifest in the child's soul, and resentments are going to crawl into their lives. They're not going to say anything for a while, but later on, they're going to turn on you. Oh, Zimbi was a breeder, man. He had 15 sons and 20 servants. He had all kinds of stuff. Hey, there's Phoebe sitting there at here's the crutches. This is an actual picture of him. Sitting at the banqueting table. Oh, the symbolism is fantastic. That's me sitting there, a guy who came from the trash can of life, loaded with sin, washed in the blood of Christ. Now I get to sit at the banqueting table Why? Because I did a good job and I deserved it? No! Mercy found me. Mercy found me. And there I sit. There you sit. Am I helping anybody? This is a story of mercy. Your mercy. And it says, Ziba, he says, King David, whatever you tell me, that's what we're going to do. He said, this is what we're going to do, okay? Do. See, he didn't tell him what he was thinking, which is, I can't say all this stuff here at the Deliverance Center, but it wasn't pretty. It was nasty. And that resentment just sunk in. Oh, we'll do it all, King. Yes, he bowed his way out. Really. Don't forget about Mephi. He's going to be in here, and I'm going to treat him like I would one of my own sons. How do you like that, Zibby? Like that? Hey, King David, let me talk to you for a minute. If you do something like that or say something like that in front of somebody, you're going to cause people to develop resentments that are not spoken, and it's down here that blocks your deliverance. It's down here that blocks your healing. And a miracle happens. He gets married and has a son. His name Micah. Mephi lived in Jerusalem. Can you believe that? He moved into the palace at Jerusalem. Utterly amazing. He lived and ate at the king's table, which is where we eat now. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, you got on your knees. You begged for mercy. You confessed your sins to God. You pleaded with mercy, and you got it. You went from the pigsty to the glory house. Just that quick. It takes that long to get born again. I'm a dead dog. Why would you pay any attention to me? Mercy loves dead dogs. Well, let's fast forward, shall we? The Absalom thing is over. King David's been gone a long time. Okay. And he's coming home. And Zibby shows up. Old Zibby. Who secretly can't stand the guy. He'd off him himself if he could get away with it. But he can't. So he sits down and thinks, see? Let me tell you a funny combination here of human beings. Intelligent human beings, listen to me, intelligent human beings who also have resentments, very good at revenge. They will plot out your destruction. It happened in 9/11 and Al Qaeda. They sat down and thought about it. Well, Zibby is farming this land and working these crops, and it's not his anymore. And his resentment is expanding like you can't believe. He's very intelligent, very smart man, great businessman. So he sits down, he plots it out. He's thinking about revenge. He's thinking about getting what he's owed. So he thinks about it. Hey, Mephibosheth, he can't walk. He's not going to be out here. I can pick King David off on the way back and hatch my plot that's been stewing in a pool of resentment for years. He meets King David coming back and loads him down with what? Bribes. Okay? Yeah, there's no difference between a bribe and charity unless you know the root of it. They look alike. Charity looks like a bribe. A bribe looks like charity, but you don't know which one it is. Do you know the motivation? This isn't charity. This isn't respect. This isn't love for King David. This is a bribe. Hey, here's the food. Here's the wine. Here are the donkeys. Here's everything. I got everything for you. Welcome back. Welcome back, King. What are you doing? Why are you bringing all this stuff out for me? King David says. King David was street smart, but had low common people sense. What are you doing this for? Oh, Ziba. He says, hey, wait a minute. Here's what these things are for. See, he's thinking. He's thinking it out. I'll tell him that this is for that. This one's for that. No problemo. Got him. You got the bread, you got the wine, you got the raisins. You like raisins, don't you? All your tribe, your warriors from the rebellion from Absalom, they're all with him there. And he brings out all this food, all these benefits. But David isn't smart enough to see it. He doesn't know it's a bribe. The king said, where is your master's son? Uh-oh. He brought him up again. Ziba says, behold, he's at Jerusalem. Well, of course he is. He's disabled. He's not going to be going anywhere. And he comes out to take advantage of it. Smart move. And what he's doing there is he's waiting for Absalom to win this war. And he wants to take back everything he lost. He was in line to be king. He lost that. He lost his royalty. He lost everything. That's what the kid told me, David. This kid betrayed you. He's trash. Okay? He wants his kingdom restored. He wants to be the king. And then David buys it. Oh, David. There he goes again. King David. 3 bricks short of a load. He gets one side of a story, but doesn't get the other side. Okay? When I sit in my office and I have a client sitting there, somebody sitting there talking to me, I'm getting their version of the story. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, wait a minute. There's 2 sides to every story. Now let me think about the other side of the story. If you've ever done marriage counseling, and I have, that is a paramount skill. The spouse has a story, and the other spouse has a story. Okay? What am I doing? I'm not disbelieving either one of them, nor am I believing either one of them. See, I'm cautiously watching and waiting for more information to come in so I can make a decision on which direction the truth is leaning. I don't just automatically receive what you said. Oh, my sister and my mom, that they do this and that and that and this. I said, oh, they do. And I write it down and I nod. They do. But here I'm going, wait a minute. I heard that side of the story. Now there may be the sister, not King David. No, he got bricks in his head. Oh, he's going to betray me? You're kidding me. The disabled guy, after I did all that stuff for him, took him out of the outhouse, put him in the penthouse. I gave him everything. He sits at my table. And he said that he wants to take my kingdom from me. Is that what he said, Zibby baby? Oh, Zibberoo, the Zipser. Is that what he said? Yeah, that's what he said. Dude's going to stab me in the back, man. You mean he's going to hobble in there and stab me in the back? Is he? Yeah. He wants his kingdom back. And King David, who doesn't have the sense God gave a basket of grapes, believes him and gives him all the land back and takes it from Shibboleth. Just like that. Gone. Don't you see the symbolism is so? Listen, if you trust anything but the Word of God, if you put your trust anywhere other than the Lord Jesus, somebody's going to steal your stuff. It's going to happen. He just hands it to him. Zibby baby says, oh, he pours it back on now. Oh, I humbly do, This is called marketing. This is all a crock. King David, too dumb to see through it. Either too busy or too lazy or too stupid to get the other side of the story before making a decision. Hey, Brother Mike, I don't understand it. Nobody in my family wants to talk to me anymore. Oh, shoot, that's terrible. Why? What happened? Well, my mother did this, my dad did this, my cousin did that, and my uncle did this and that. I thought, man, darn, that's bad news. That's not good. Wait a minute. There might be another side to this story I haven't heard. Hello? I think I'm dying on YouTube as I am right now. But then King David leaves, takes all the grub with him, and finally makes it home. Guess who runs out to meet him? What's this mean here? What's God telling you here? Well, he comes out to meet the king. He's disabled, so that's much harder than Zibby. And he had not done anything. And you're saying to yourself, well, why is he doing this? Why would he come out to see the king in that condition? His clothes are filthy. He hasn't cleaned up. He's not shaved, nothing. He's done nothing. Well, what was happening here was that he was in mourning because he didn't know if King David was going to make it back or not. And he truly loved him. And he sat there in mourning the whole time, waiting for him to come home. The prodigal son popped up here. Father waited for that guy every night. For 2 years, he's sitting on the porch. He wouldn't go get him, but every night he was there waiting, watching. When is my son going to come home? Every night, Phoebe gets lifted in his cart, and the maid, the nurse, the attendant takes him out. He's on the porch. He's looking out, waiting for King David to come home. The only person who ever truly loved him. The only person ever truly loved him was King David. No one else ever cared about him but him. And it came to pass, he went out to meet King David. And King David goes, well, how come you didn't go with me? What was going on? And he says, When he sees him out in the field, he falls down on his knees, not because he's disabled, but because he was worshiping, respectfully falling down. He says, "My Lord, your servant deceived me." Your servant, he's talking about Zibi. He said, "I will saddle an ass that I may ride and go to the king because your servant is lame." Hey, listen, Mephibosheth, stay right here, buddy. I'll take care of you. No problem. You wait here and I'll go get the king and we'll come back and take care of you. Oh boy. He lied. The whole thing was a lie. And then he told King David, if he wants the whole kingdom back, he stabbed you in the back. That's what he told me. He has slandered me. But you're like an angel of God to me. He said, "You know what? You have already done so many good things for me. You've already given me so much. You've already taken care of me like crazy. Just do what's good in your eyes. I trust you." Now, this doesn't sound like somebody who betrayed King David, to me anyway. Nothing but respect. All my father's house, we were all like dead men before you came along. And you set me among your own family members, and I got to eat at your own table. What right would I have to file any more complaints to you, King David? Wow, what an attitude. And King David then, screws up again, as usual. Yeah. I love King David. King David and Peter are my favorite people in the Bible because they're just genetic screw ups. And I've got somebody to relate to. I know if there's hope for them, I got a shot. That's the way I look at it. King David screws up again. He's always screwing up. Well, listen, I don't want to deal with this anymore. You and Zibibaba, you guys work it out yourselves. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm busy. Well, I bet that went well. Well, I think Phoebe saw what was going to happen. He said, "Hey, Lord, let him have it. Let him have it. My reward was you coming back safe." What happened to this guy? He's kind of the opposite of a born-again Christian nowadays. During periods of adversity, he still remained grateful. That's so rare among Christians. As soon as anything bad happens to them, they start to gripe. They start to get self-pitiized. They start to get pissed. Oh no, I can't believe this is happening to me. Hey, listen, bad things happen to good people all the time. Not everybody remains grateful. This is a story of gratefulness. I'm so glad you're home. And the end of the story is this. Merabaal was his other name. Mentioned that earlier. They had a son, Micah. And then guess what happened after that? You know, the devil means things for you that are evil and bad. And Father comes along and turns it out for good. He's disabled his entire life. He's broke. He's got nothing. He can't even walk. He only has one child. Guess what happens? That leads to a beehive of human beings. Micah bred a bunch of breeders. Here are sons, 4, right? And they start doing what? What is that? That's begetting. What does begetting mean? Well, back in those days, that was a sign of wealth and prosperity and power. The bigger family you had, the bigger person you were. Nowadays, it's the opposite. Smaller family you have, the better off you are. Back then, if you had all kinds of kids, you were a big deal. You were a blessed person. If you had a quiver full of them, you were, Proverbs, blessed. Guess who ended up with them? Bibby had so many grandkids and great-grandkids and everything else, you wouldn't even believe it. It went on and on and on. A whole new gigantic family tree came out of his loins. And here's how he started out. Boom. Screaming in agony. Where's my dad? He's dead. Where's my granddad? He's dead. Where's my brothers and sisters? They're dead. Hey, let me ask you something. Are you like him? Did you, through no fault of your own, through no sin of your own, nothing, end up with rotten parents, foster parents, adopted parents? Did you end up with some physical problem? Did you end up with a mental problem? Something happened to you and it wasn't your fault. You just got hit. Bad things happen to good people all the time. What doesn't happen to them? Still being grateful. Still being grateful. And this kid, with all the problems he had, said, King David, I don't need all that land. Just go ahead and give it to Zibby. Just let him have it. I don't want to hassle with that. I'm satisfied. Fully. You came home. An odd attitude to have. Let's go to prayer. Thank you, Jesus.